2 weeks later, Yemisi drove in from work and met her luggage outside the house with a written note on one of the bags. It read, "I cannot be married to a woman who is not submissive and does not respect me as her husband and even my mother." Yemisi tried to open the door, but it was locked. She rang the bell several times. Nothing. She called her husband's lines repeatedly. She could hear the phone ringing inside the house. Obina ignored all her calls. She tearfully began to pack her bags into her car. When she was done, she drove out of the compound and never went back. Yemisi's family tried to intervene, but Nneka, doing all the talking, while Obina sat like a scared schoolboy, said her son was no longer interested in their daughter and would want to take back the bride price.
After the end of his first marriage, Obina tried to move on. He knew he still loved Yemisi, but he couldn't bring himself to disobeying his mother. Neca, however, wasted no time in asking him to look for another woman. "Please, be careful this time. Make sure she's a good and respectful woman," she encouraged him. Then she added with a dramatic sigh, "And for heaven's sake, Obina, marry someone that will not be using English grammar to confuse me." Exactly 6 months after his marriage to Yemisi ended, Obina met and fell in love with Ifunanya, who worked with an insurance company. They became friends and ended up in a romantic relationship. Obina loved her so much, but he was worried about the nature of her job. He didn't want her to have issues with his mother. He decided to make her an offer. 6 months into their relationship, Obina proposed to her. After she agreed to marry him, he made a request. "I want you to resign from your job. I will pay you double your monthly salary. Just be a stay-at-home wife and take care of the house, please." Ifunanya didn't like the idea, but the thought of being paid a monthly 300,000 naira instead of the 150,000 naira was tempting. She even muttered under her breath, "So, I will just be staying at home and collecting money. Is this marriage or federal government appointment?" She agreed, and Obina immediately transferred 900,000 naira for 3 months into her account. They got married. Neca, who had gone back to her house after Yemisi left, returned to Obina's house 2 months after his wedding. She saw how Obina showered Ifunanya with so much love and affection. She became uncomfortable. "This one will make my son forget me completely. God forbid, I have to do something," she muttered to herself. Then she added, "And for heaven's sake, Obina, marry someone that will not be using English grammar to confuse me." Ifunanya was the perfect daughter-in-law any mother-in-law could have wished for. She respected Neca so much, prepared delicious meals for her and her husband, and kept the house very clean. Yet, Neca was not satisfied. She saw Ifunanya as a threat and decided that she couldn't be married to her son. She began to complain about Ifunanya to her son, starting with small, seemingly innocent comments. "Ifunanya doesn't seem to understand the true meaning of respect," she would say. "She greeted me this morning, but the good morning was not deep enough. It lacked spiritual kneeling." Obina blinked. "Mama, what is spiritual kneeling?" "Don't ask me nonsense question. If you know, you know." During family dinners, she would subtly compare her to Amaka. Yemisi was always so outspoken, but at least she knew how to handle a situation with grace. This one is behaving like a quiet lioness. Ifunanya tried harder and harder to please her mother-in-law, but each effort was met with further criticism. The final straw came when Neca suggested that Ifunanya was secretly trying to get a piece of Obina's wealth. "Obina, open your eyes. This girl wants to turn your bank account into a personal piggy bank." Soon, Obina began questioning everything. "Ifu, I need money for groceries." "For where? Which groceries? List them." "Rice, tomatoes. Remove tomatoes, it is too expensive. Use sense tomatoes." Sometimes she would stare at him in disbelief. "Ifu, what is sense tomatoes?" He shrugged. "I don't know. Mama said it." Eventually, he stopped paying her the monthly 300,000 naira. When she asked him why he stopped paying, he called her barren. My mother visited a spiritualist who told her that you are a barren woman and that you can never have children. Ifunanya nearly fainted. Me? Barren? Obina? Which spiritualist? The one under the mango tree or the one beside the goat shed? But it was too late. He eventually asked Ifunanya for a divorce. As she packed her bags, she whispered sadly, God, so this is how I ended up in a marriage where my mother-in-law was the assistant Holy Spirit? Months passed. Neca enjoyed being the queen of the house again. Little did she know what was coming. One morning at the market, Neca met Oluchi. Her polite behavior, warm smile and humility impressed her. Good morning, ma, she said, bowing so deeply she almost reached the ground. Neca's eyes lit up. Ha! This one can greet for Africa. Soon, she introduced Oluchi to Obina. She's not like Yemesi or Ifunanya. She's humble and will respect you and this family. Just meet her once. Obina met Oluchi. She behaved like an angel. During the meeting, Oluchi said, Sir, I believe a peaceful home starts with good communication and respect. Obina almost melted. Mama, is this woman real? 3 months later, Obina proposed and Oluchi became his wife. Neca bragged to everyone, this one is humble. You can even fry egg on her humility. But then, one morning, Neca went to the kitchen and found no Oluchi. She checked her room and found Oluchi scrolling through her phone. Oluchi, are you feeling okay? Please, Mama, start breakfast. I will join you shortly. Neca blinked rapidly. Join me or join the ancestors? Things got worse. Oluchi stopped cooking entirely. When Neca complained, she smiled sweetly. Mama, don't be angry. Stress is not good for beautiful women like us. One evening, Neca snapped. This is not what I signed up for. You are the wife, Oluchi, not me. Start acting like one. Oluchi stood up slowly, dropped her sweet smile and said, Mama, you don't know who you are dealing with. I heard your story before I came here. All your manipulations, all your drama. I know everything. She leaned closer. And please, don't try reporting me to Obina. If you do, I will make sure you regret it. Neca froze like a statue. Her mouth opened, but no words came out, just air escaping like, piff. Neca remained on the spot, still struggling to find the right words, when Oluchi moved closer to her, stared at her and said, Old woman, if you push me too far, you see this your precious son, my husband, he might not live to see the end of it. Do you understand? Look me well, I know where low. Neca's blood did backflip immediately. She had never imagined the innocent girl from the market could utter such words. Her spirit left her body and came back with pure fear. She quietly turned, went straight to her room and broke down in tears. She cried like someone whose village masquerade just slapped in public. But that was just the beginning. She had no idea what lay ahead of her. Without knocking, Oluchi went into Neca's room shortly after. She began to laugh when she saw her crying. Mama, you dey cry? I have not even started and you are crying. Get ready for a ride with me. You would definitely regret bringing me here, you wicked old woman. She yelled. Neca's legs became jollof rice, soft and shaking. Please, Oluchi, kindly pack your things and leave my husband's house, Neca begged, raising her teary face to look at Oluchi. I introduced you to my son because I thought you were respectful and calm. It was a mistake. Please leave. Oluchi began to laugh again. Her laugh sounded like witches holding staff meeting at midnight. Get ready, Mama. You are stuck with me, she said softly and walked out of the room. Immediately, Oluchi stepped out of the room. Neca's phone rang. It was a hidden number. She picked up the call with a shaking finger. The finger was vibrating like Nokia touchlight. The caller didn't wait for her to talk before he spoke up. Hello, old woman.
My name is Scorpion. I am calling to warn you to behave well and be a good woman, otherwise I will take your son's life." At that moment, Nneka almost dropped the phone. Her mind said, nothing at the watch. The caller went on to describe Obina, his company, his routine, and several other information. Nneka almost shouted, "Blood of Moses. I don't understand what you mean by I should behave well and be a good woman. Please, who are you and what do you want?" Nneka asked, trembling visibly. "Oluchi is our cult member and she has complained to us that you are threatening to kick her out of her husband's house. If you love your only son and child, you better calm down, else we will take him down. I won't warn you again," the caller replied and hung up. Nneka threw herself to the ground and wept bitterly. "See what I have done to myself. Yemisi and Ifunanya were never rude to me. They never even raised voice. They didn't even threaten to slap me. What have I done to myself?" she said as she continued to cry. She cried herself to sleep and didn't know when Obina returned. The next morning, Oluchi emerged from the bedroom and entered the kitchen, closely followed by her husband. With a warm smile, the sweetest fake smile in Africa, she greeted Nneka, who was already in the kitchen. "Good morning, Mama. Did you sleep well? Thank you so much for helping me. You are the best mother-in-law ever," she said, smiling lovingly. Nneka turned to face her, still mad at her for the event of the previous day. She didn't respond. In her mind, she said, "Best mother-in-law cool, best buy ni." "Mama, my wife is greeting you." Before Nneka could reply, Oluchi began to cry, like a generator that refuses to start. "I don't want to come between you and my mother, but sometimes she's a little harsh with me," she cried. Obina was heartbroken. Nneka almost screamed, "Jesu Maria, this girl don't start an Nollywood audition again."
"Not again, Mama," Obina said sadly. "You introduced my wife to me." Nneka could not believe her life. It was like watching herself lose an argument she never started. Over the next few days, Oluchi continued playing her role. Whenever Obina was around, she was a whole angel. But whenever they were alone, she transformed into the wicked auntie in children's cartoon. Nneka became the housemaid. She obeyed every instruction like someone working on probation. At night, Oluchi told Obina a lot of things, indirectly suggesting that Nneka didn't like her. Nneka watched helplessly as her relationship with her son began to go sour. Whenever she asked Obina to see her, he would say, "Mama, I'm busy. Mama, I'm tired. Mama, I'm not around." Excuses flowing like pure water. Oluchi successfully created a gap between them. Nneka felt lonely, isolated, and finished. This continued until their marriage clocked 1 year. Nneka refused to leave the house. In her mind, she said, "This girl can't kill me inside my son's house. Never." Obina returned from work and refused to greet his mother. But immediately Oluchi emerged, he hugged her and kissed her. Nneka's soul left her body briefly. Then he asked, "Did you indeed visit a spiritualist who told you that Ifunanya was a barren woman?" Nneka did not expect that question. It hit her chest like NEPA voltage. When Obina revealed that Ifunanya was heavily pregnant, Nneka's ears almost fell off. She confessed and apologized. Obina said, "Mother, you disgust me right now." That sentence entered her spirit like pepper soup that missed the road. Very early the next day, Nneka begged for forgiveness and you forgave her, but his words pierced her. "I can't hate my mother, just that I can never trust you again." His forgiveness was like free trial, no warranty.